And I guess this puts you in the final tournament. I mean, for the welterweight title.
Yeah,
What's your feelings? What's the thought process going through that?
yeah, it's really exciting. I feel like a lot of people are scared of Ian Garry, but I'm not, and I think I'm a different ball game for him. I believe these guys are intimidated before they even get in there, and again, like I'm not. I'm like I am like that fighter that's tasted all sides of the sport. Nothing's new to me, and I'm going to go in there fearless as always. And the only thing that matters is as long as I believe in myself, I don't care about the others. Like everyone has Ian, uh, in their mind, and rightfully so. He's done a fantastic job, but I was 6-0 too. You know what I
Hmm.
mean? And if I could look back on the old me, the 6-0 me, I'd be just looking at him and going, "Yeah, you're brand new." You know what I mean? Like he's green, but you got to be careful because those green guys are dangerous and they're fearless. So, but at the same time, I'm not so green and I'm experienced, and I believe that can win me the fight
Well, and
and will win me the fight.
right, right. And I guess let's just talk about Ian Garry. I mean, I guess, yeah, I mean, I think you talk about experience, and I think that's important because if you look at his record, I just looked him up yesterday, preparing for this interview, and I look at him. I mean, you look at almost every fight that he's won, or like, excuse me, all the fights that he's won, almost all of them have been, if not all of them, are all finishes. I mean, submissions,
Yeah,
like TKOs. I mean, this guy can finish a fight anywhere. So that being said, that doesn't, like you said, doesn't appear to bother you. Yeah, do you feel like that the experience is something that is what doesn't make you afraid of them?
yeah. So like for me, if you look at my early door record, I stopped everybody. Um,
Hmm.
still to this day, my wins. I've only been the distance a couple of times, 15 stoppages or something like that. I don't really keep track. It doesn't bother me anymore. I know that I can finish any fight anywhere. I don't have to just rely on one area either. I can submit you or I can knock you out. And you know, we're yet to see his ground game, and also in the process and in his confidence. Like nobody's seen him get it put on him. Like it's not a nice feeling when you think you're unstoppable and somebody starts to chip away at you. And I've experienced that myself, and I've become a stronger person from it. And yeah, I'm just happy to go. Like I dream of fighting people like him. You know what I mean?
Well, and I think every fighter has to have someone that kind of changes their career, whether it's good for the good or bad. I think every fighter has to kind of have an opponent that helps them experience or I guess helps them reach to that level. I think,
Yeah,
and like you said for yourself. I mean, you've been in that situation where it's helped you improve yourself as a fighter. I mean, you wouldn't be who you are today without having that loss to so and so or having that tough fight against so and so.
yeah, exactly.
Hmm.
The thing is, like I say, I think a lot of them are intimidated before they even get in there. And if you look at these guys who he's beat, like they're not me either. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
Like the early doors fighters. I mean, the guy who was in the UFC, I think he had 6 wins or something like that. Not the biggest of records. Like I am I'm like a UFC fighter, but outside of the UFC.
Hmm.
Like my record could sit on any stage in the world. Um, I've fought a lot of good people. I fought everyone and anyone. And again, like I'm that guy that like my mindset going in there is everybody looks unstoppable until they get stopped. And I want to stop him. I want to be the first person to stop him. I want to take his out. And that for me is the most exciting thing in the world. Like I love fighting. You know, do all those guys that fought him who was destroyed, do they all actually love fighting like the way I do? A lot of people would have quit, through some of my adversities, but I didn't. You know what I mean? I'm different to those guys.
Yeah, and I think the idea, and if you want to agree with me, do you think do you think it's acceptable to say if you don't think you can win, you shouldn't be fighting?
Absolutely. I wouldn't even be in the tournament. I wouldn't have even have entered it. I didn't even have to enter it. I was planning on fighting at lightweight. The tournament got offered. I knew Ian Garry was the other side of the bracket. I knew Madders Flemingers was going to be the first fight. Madders is from the same town as me. A lot of people had a lot of things to say about, oh, Madders can beat you. And in my mind, I've always said, no, he can't. So, like, straight away, I've told everyone who's close to me before I fought Madders that I would take him down and submit him. I just needed more commitment from him. And then when he committed in the second round, he got taken down. And he was just, it was levels difference, you know? If there was more time in the first round, if I'd have just took him down a little bit earlier, he'd have been submitted earlier, you know? And then with Ian Garry, like, I'm just excited. Like I say, I wouldn't even be in this if I didn't believe I was going to win.
And that's just it. You know, if you know, my dad always has this conversation with me. He says we watch the fights, we watch a bunch of different fights, what organization they are, and he always has this conversation with me. He's like, "Well, if you don't think you're gonna win, why are you fighting? Why are you competing?
Exactly.
You know, you have to believe in yourself. I mean, you can't go in a fight thinking that you're gonna lose."